I've got a confession to make. I haven't tuned my drums in 6 months, and they currently sound like this. So my question is today, can this little device make them sound good? No new skins, just tuning. Let's find out. Okay, so I had no idea how to use this. I had no idea what frequencies any drum head should be tuned to ever. But luckily, it comes with an app, and that app looks a little bit like this. As you can see, got a drum set calculator where it can calculate pitch you want your drum to be at. You just choose the drum size, and whether you want the top head higher or the bottom head higher, press calculate, and it calculates for you. Gives you a note, everything. But even then, I didn't know what to do. Thankfully, it comes with something else. Artist tunings. We've got a whole host of famous people, including some of my favourites. Dennis Chambers is the top listed one. So what I decided to do was to tune all of my drums to some of these artist tuning to get a feel for what they sound like and what's good on my drum set, Mapex Saturn. First, I chose Dennis Chambers. Love Dennis Chambers. Doesn't need any introduction. What an amazing player. Second, I chose Mark Schulman. He played for Pink for like 15 years. Great pop player. Great producer. Yep. Another one I thought, let's give that a go. And then Jason Bittner as well. First of all, let's have another listen to what my drum kit sounds like right now before we start on this. It's pretty bad, isn't it? Let's see how the TuneBot works. When we turn the TuneBot on, it gives us a frequency in hertz. And we've got a bunch of buttons here, whether it's kit, drum or head, there for saved values. So we're not going to use those right now. What we want to do is decide on a frequency. So I've picked a frequency of 161 hertz. I'm going to tap these lugs and see which one's closest to it. And the one that's furthest away from it, I'm going to bring up until they're all pretty close. When they're pretty close, I'm going to pick a lug that I like the sound of. And then I'm going to press this button with the triangle. And that is going to isolate that frequency, and then it's going to be a little bit like a guitar tuner. It's going to give me the pitch variance from that 161 hertz. And I'm just going to hit these different lugs. I'm going to hit these different lugs, and each lug is going to show me the difference. Can you see? And all I'm doing is tuning them until they're within 0.5 hertz. So that's how it works. Pretty simple, right? We're going to do that for the top head and the bottom head for each tuning. The first one I'm going to choose is Dennis Chambers. And here's what that looks like. So I've got a 10-inch tom, a 12-inch tom, a 16-inch floor tom, and a 14-inch snare drum. I'm not going to tune the bass drums. I'm just going to keep them as low as possible because I like them really low. And I've never had a problem with that. We've got 246 hertz for the top lug of the 10-inch tom, 242 hertz for the bottom lug, with a fundamental of 142. To get the fundamental pitch, you just tap the drum in the center when you finish tuning the lugs, and then you can fine tune to get that. Okay, 12-inch tom is 154 on the top, 216 on the bottom with a fundamental of 106. And the 16-inch tom is 81 hertz at the top and 184 hertz at the bottom. Really high at the bottom and really low at the top. Snare drum, 340 hertz on the top and 381 on the bottom. All right, let's see how that sounds. Sounds pretty great, doesn't it? Especially that floor tom. I absolutely love that floor tom and the snare drum. One of the first differences I noticed is how they feel like to play. The way the stick bounces from them, completely different to how I had them tuned before. I've definitely been missing something in my tuning. What do you think of this one? Let me know down below. Next, we're going to go to Jason Bittner. Okay, so here's Jason Bittner's tunings on the screen. We've got the 10-inch tom, top lug 220 hertz, so quite a lot higher. bottom log 260, 12-inch tom 170, and bottom log 207. 16-inch floor tom 118 at the top and 103 at the bottom. Completely the opposite, high on the top and low on the bottom compared to Dennis Chambers tuning. That'll be interesting. And the snare drum 291 on the top and 444 on the bottom, with a fundamental of 209. Wow, that's going to be real cranked up the bottom. Let's see how that goes. So yeah, it sounds different, especially the floor tom. I don't like the floor tom nearly as much. Kind of like the high pitch of the snare drum, the way that bottom skin really brings that ping out. Yeah, kind of cool. But overall, I think I like the Dennis Chambers tuning a bit better at this stage. What do you think? Again, let me know down below. All right, now on to the final tuning that I tried. This one is Mark Schulman, who was Pink's drummer 15 years. We've got a 10-inch tom at 193 at the top and 213 at the bottom. 12-inch tom at 158 Hz on the top and 180 at the bottom. 16-inch tom at 95 Hz at the top and 115 at the bottom. The snare drum 239 at the top and 386 at the bottom. So really low compared to the other two on the top. This will be interesting to see how this sounds. Let's give it a go. Yeah, well, again, that was pretty different. I did not like the snare drum. Felt really loose to play. But I did like the floor tom tuning. Again, kind of similar to Dennis's, right? Yeah, I really kind of liked it. So I decided that I didn't really like any of these tunings completely. But I wanted to make a hybrid. And I really like the snare drum on Dennis's. And I like the 10-inch tom. So I kept those two. And then I took Mark Schulman's tunings for the 12-inch tom and the 16-inch tom. This was partly based on the way they sounded in the recordings here, and also the way they felt when I played them. And this is what that tuning sounds like. I think that's pretty cool, right? The toms have a nice tone as you go down them, and the snare drum feels great to play. The Dennis Chambers snare drum tuning, it makes it sound really full, and it just feels good to play. It bounces nicely. So I'm keeping those for now. What do you think? Do you think this is a good hybrid tuning of these artist tunings, or would you have gone with something different? Let me know down below. So what's my conclusion? Well, If you don't know how to tune drums and you're tuning them by ear and you're not satisfied with your sound, this is a great product to learn. It'll teach you how different tunings affect your drums. For instance, on the floor tom, having a very high low skim with a low top skim gives actually a really good feel. It must be the way the air moves between the two skins, but it feels better than having them both tuned low. There's just something about it when you play them. Again, the same with the snare drum. Quite a high top skin, but a really high bottom skin. Feels good to play. Doesn't just sound good, but feels good. I can highly recommend this to anyone who wants to learn more about tuning drums. And I'm going to try a bunch more stuff over the coming months, and we're going to see how I learn, I guess. All right, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please do like and subscribe. See you soon.